In the previous video, I filleted a board. In this video, I'm going to use the pieces of that board that I have to slowly descend into madness as I attempt to make a box using some very good techniques and some very bad ones. Follow me on this journey, won't you? So we have our pieces cut, with quite a few to spare. And I wanted to see a little mock-up of the way that the box is going to look about to get an approximate size and decide how I want to join this together. Now, a lot of people seem to think that woodworkers use a lot of nails, and I use nails, but I'm a little bit of an outlier in that. But nails seemed thematically appropriate for the kind of thing that I wanted to use for this. These are pinch dogs. Now, I've only got about 10 of them, and so a box of this size seems a little bit like overkill, but I also have to plan for how I'm going to handle it in the future, because I do plan on getting more in different sizes, depending on how these perform, that is. And these are actually going to feature very heavily in the next video that I have planned after this one. But I wanted a convenient place to put them that is sturdy on all sides. I haven't decided if I wanted to try one of those slide-in type lids yet. This would be a good project to try it on, but I think I might be trying too many things at once. We'll see. So here's the net, the unfolded version of my box. All of these sides are gonna come up together, and they're going to form the walls here, and I'm probably gonna have to take the base piece down a little bit on one side because it's very slightly longer in one direction than it is in the other. I'm going to have two pieces that have a pair of tabs cut out here, so there's going to be a little bit of proud spot there. And then the other two pieces are going to have two tabs like this cut into that. The tabs on these only actually have to be slightly to the inside there, so they're very, very gently proud, and I can plane them down to square. I'm not going to finish the inside. I think I'm going to leave it raw just to save myself some labor, because these are really only for me. But if I were going to have done that, then I would have done it back when they were still 2 pieces instead of now that they're 8 pieces. To accommodate the sliding lid, but that space needs to be removed so that the lid can slide in to the housing. Now once I cut a tab, the slot has to be the size of that tab, so I'm going to mark them all at once. I'm going to get them as flush to each other as I possibly can. Now to take our tab pieces and cut out the waist corners. Now it's time to cut the slots. And we'll be cutting the slots with my old nemesis, the coping saw. That's enough for me to get all the way across without running into anything, so I'm not going to offset it. I am going to get down to the bottom of the kerf there. And now, to try something that I haven't tried yet, let's try turning on a dime. Let's get down to the bottom of the kerf and then just rotate while going back and forth, because it'll only turn while it cuts. Wow, that worked. Okay. Now, The real practice is in cutting a line straight across. One of the rules that we've already established, don't press, is still in effect. It would be quite helpful if I were to actually follow that rule. Okay, I was on the line right there, and then went astray towards the middle, which I can also see from this side. But it's better to go astray high than to go astray low. There's that vibration that was really throwing me off. I think next time I'm going to try it a little lower in the curve. Lower in the vise. Alright, I can fix that with a chisel or just with my knife right now. And remember, if you don't have a chisel, you can use any tool at your disposal. Being careful not to hit the sides, of course. That's much better. It's high on this side, but it's dead on with the line on my side. A couple of strokes here to even that up. This one so far is the only one where the tabs were cut so close to the slots that it actually fits in without a considerable amount of force. This one only goes in from a certain angle. That one doesn't go in at all. And that's good because this means that I can pare down until it's a more exact fit, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Now to do that. This is the short one, and I'm using its height squared to the bottom to mark the channel that I'm going to need to cut in for the slidey top. There we go. I'm also pretty close to fully assembling the carcass here, but I want to make sure that that channel is cut in on the two sides that need to receive it. Which also means that I'm going to have to pick a top and get that sized and cut. While I'm at it, I might as well also rough assemble this and then get some approximate dimensions on the bottom board here. It doesn't even form a complete square, but it is enough for me to measure the distance between the lines. I've got to take quite a bit off of the bottom there. My plan is possibly the laziest thing. I'm actually going to get it sitting in like this and nailed in place that way so that it's sitting on the nails rather than just nailed in and then held by friction. Good. Want it to be in about halfway. That's about halfway. Okay, so I want to do the pins first, and I'm going to start by getting it all the way through here. Okay, that's not working straight out, so I'm going to sharpen the edge. There, those should cut now, so hopefully it goes the direction I want. Okay, a little bit through. It's very slightly proud on both of those sides. Okay. Now this is going to be tricky. I didn't come through on any of their sides. Cool. Now to do that again. That one burst out the side. I'm doing a great job. But oh well, home stretch. That used to be a nail. I hammered it in, it started to go in crooked, and when I pried it out, that failed. Well, I'm not going to shy away from my screw-ups, but you know what else is thematically appropriate for this thing? Glue. Let's get that in, line up the grain, press and hold. Hopefully, that does the job. Okay, if that doesn't hold, then I'll just glue it again. Okay. Now to put the bottom on this thing. Now this bottom is slightly weirdly sized in that it goes in one direction and not another. Well, actually, I guess now that it's cinched down tight, I guess it goes in no directions. Okay, I have to make this a little smaller. Whatever, it'll hold it in place for now. Okay, I'm just gonna keep pounding nails into this thing until something works. Let's try it on the edge. That's a very different sound. What is... what? What? There, that one worked. No screw-ups on that one. Okay. Now all I have to do is get the failure ones out. That should be pretty easy. Yeah, that'll get it cleanly under. And as for how far in, here we go. Okay, and with any luck, this should work smooth. Come on. Just barely. Success! It works! How do I get it out? Oh no. Predictably, this broke again, so I just pounded another nail through it and took a notch out of the lid to accommodate. And now it works just fine. Let's also do one of those old-timey grooves, too. Just some hand pressure there will do it. You got just that last little bit. There we go. Now we have a nice shaped groove. A couple of unevennesses there. I can even that out with a couple more strokes. Goes on nice and smooth. For the most part. Make sure to add your embellishments. Like that one. That looks terrible, that looks terrible, the whole thing looks terrible. This is by far the biggest disappointment of anything that I have ever made. But it was fun. And you know what? This part, resawing boards so that I get more life out of them, was actually pretty successful. And for that matter, so was the joinery that I did here. Now, I didn't plane it down because this was already shaping up to be garbage, and why not? The fitting of the slide here, if that were thick enough to support it, wasn't bad. I horribly misguessed the inside span here, so it doesn't fit over the top. You can tell there's a sizable gap, but every other part of this was a success. Other than, you know, making it actually look like something that anyone would want, including me. Yeah. Alright. Never be afraid of failure. And this is certainly a failure. But I succeeded in some things, and I learned plenty of stuff not to do. Now, see, I was doing the nails thing kind of as a challenge. I do actually use nails quite a bit more than most people do. Like, these planks are held in with nails. And I use nails very specifically, and I tend to pre-drill them, and this is why. And I tend not to use nails in something that's super thin, and this is why. This really serves to highlight the boundaries of what nails can be used for. Also, this is the first of this kind of groove that I've ever made. And it's the first outing of the gouges since I made the covers for them in the previous video. A lot going on in this one. Alright, subscribe if you want to see more successes. And failures.